Pitbike Open about to go out. Just going to have a quick word with, if we don't get run over, be careful Keith, with Max Cook here, who's always a front runner. Max, how you doing?
Yeah, good fine, yeah, how are you?
And this is one of your favourite tracks, this one?
I don't know, not so much my favourite, but I'm enjoying the infield bit that we're doing this year, you know, it's a bit more interesting.
Yeah, because you usually just go around the outside, and I've noticed we're all going down the inside this time.
Yeah, I do actually quite enjoy it. It's good to have a change, so yeah, I'm happy.
Who's the main competition for you this weekend?
Well, you got Brad and James behind me. I'm looking forward to see how Brad does on that 150, so I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
Okay, well, good luck today. So another quick chat with somebody who's lined up in now. He's not in Pitbike Open. It's Corey Stainer. Corey, you've been going well on Mini GP 50, I think, this year for you, yeah?
Yeah.
And going pretty well. What are you hoping for this weekend?
Podium.
Podium, just that's it. The podium. You won't be happy with anything less than that, will you, these days?
No.
Okay, and in the background, through the fence, we've got Blake Hansel. Blake, what are you doing this weekend? You haven't got your kit on, I see.
No,
You have to get closer to the mic.
I'll let my dad have the fun this weekend.
Oh, so your dad's out racing and you're not racing at all this weekend?
Not this weekend, no.
What are you hoping for your dad then? What can he do this weekend? Can he do some damage?
I hope he, all the best.
Do some damage to himself, probably. Okay, well, Pitbike Open out next. Let's see how they go on.
Cook just about taking pole position. Brad Ray, though, will start alongside him. The second row of the grid, Richard Holmes-Williams starts in P3, making his second appearance of the season. Half a second he was back from the top two in qualifying. And then a significant gap behind to a group of riders contesting the remaining positions. Brandon Payne starts in fourth position on the second row of the grid alongside Richard Holmes-Williams. Picked up 34 points at round 3, his sole appearance so far, Brandon Payne. Third row of the grid, Will Howarth on the number 96 bike and Josh Ingram alongside him. Ingram missed last round, returns to FAB-Racing for round 5 of the 2017 British Minibike Championship. Fourth row of the grid, Jack Walters and Felix Hearn. Fifth row, Callum Wybrow and Craig Walker, who round out the top 10. And completing lineup, Greg Pym and Michael Harrington. So the expected fight for top spot is between Max Cook and Brad Ray, but don't rule out Richard Holmes-Williams either. He was also within half a second a lap of their pace. We'll see if anyone else can step up their game as we get underway with race number 1 in the Pitbike Open category. Most of the positions settling down as they were from the start line. Brandon Payne seems to have lost a position to Will Howarth, who has come through to fourth position. Top 2 spots unchanged for now. Max Cook and Brad Ray going toe-to-toe. Richard Holmes-Williams ahead now of Brandon Payne, who has dropped down to 5th position. Will Howarth moving through into 4th. So that's the main change of this opening lap so far. Will Howarth overhauling Brandon Payne as they come back towards our home straight commentary position around Paddock Bend. And Cook and Ray, not much to choose between the two of them at the end of the opening lap. And this is the fight we were anticipating. 0.2 of a second between the top two. Richard Holmes-Williams, well, true to qualifying pace, drops half a second back immediately from the top 2. And then Will Howarth leading that group behind. They are literally nose to tail coming off 180. Max Cook and Brad Ray. Ray trying to find a way past already. Well, he's certainly willing to do some rubbing. He was looking for racing room coming off 180. Cook didn't miss a beat, held on to the racing line well, but he's gone in too deep around the S's and carving his way through. Brad Ray hits the front. So Ray is the new race leader, ahead of Max Cook in second. Cook trying to repay the compliment. He goes in around the outside of the Simpson Straight, but then it's the inside advantage for Brad Ray through Paddock Bend, who holds on. Cook looking to the inside into turn 1. Just because he's been overtaken doesn't mean that this race is over yet. Max Cook, the pace setter in qualifying. Brad Ray, who has sprinted his way through to lead. Cook just ran a little bit too wide, gave a little bit too much room coming through that everlasting left-hander and through the S's. And he's given away top spots. Brad Ray, the new race leader. 46.4 on lap number 2. That's qualifying pace from Brad Ray. Max Cook, meanwhile, 0.3 of a second slower on that previous lap. That's how he's ended up finding himself in a second position. Richard Holmes-Williams an isolated 3rd. Will Howarth starting to lose some ground now to Brandon Payne as Cook again lunges to the inside, not quite alongside. Brad Ray had a look over his left shoulder as he came down the home straight. Found Cook was almost alongside and cut his way to the inside apex on turn 1. As I said, Will Howarth under ever-increasing pressure now for 4th position, having got the better of Brandon Payne on the opening lap. Payne has had 2 laps to reel back in lost ground, and 4th and 5th positions look as closely contested as the lead 2. Richard Holmes-Williams is the only one without too much company. Howarth versus Payne behind. Josh Ingram a second back from them. As the leaders come back towards our home straight commentary position once again to complete lap number 4. 8 laps remaining. Brad Ray with a 46 flat, Max Cook a 46.1. Still nothing to choose between them, a 1/10 of a second. And Will Howarth under siege once again from Brandon Payne as they come around Senna and onto that infield section. Will Howarth on the black machine ahead of Brandon Payne on the number 23 bike. Gets a better run off 180. No real overtaking opportunity there. The circuit tapers away to a right-hander and a fast left onto the main straight. Payne is down the inside, fully alongside, and makes the move. So successfully through now for 4th position, Brandon Payne. Will Howarth, though, back through, repays the compliment. Payne ran 2 wide around the top turn, similarly to Max Cook earlier in the race. And Will Howarth comes back through to take up the challenge in 4th position. 2 races in 1 here. We've got the squabble over top spot and the fight over 4th. Will Howarth with less than 2/10 of a second's advantage over Brandon Payne at the end of lap number 5. And 7 laps for Brandon Payne to find a way back through. Max Cook with the same dilemma, with the fastest rider of the race so far, Brad Ray, out in front. Both of them have knocked at least 3/10 of a second off qualifying pace here in race number 1. Less than a bike length between them as they head down into turn 1. Not quite alongside Max Cook, but it is a new fastest lap of the race, a 45.9. Brad Ray keeping the pace with that, a 46 flat out in front. So less than a 1/10 of a second between them as they came over the line, and you can tell that. Ray is having to look over his shoulder at least 2 or 3 times a lap to check on the progress of Max Cook. Cook dives down the inside into the top turn. He's made the move. Can he hold the inside ground? Yes, he can. And Brad Ray is held at bay. Great overtaking manoeuvre from Max Cook. Now Ray will try to come down the inside into Paddock Bend. Not quite close enough this time around. So Max Cook is your race leader once again at the half race distance. 7 completed laps, Max Cook in front, 2/10 of a second up on Brad Ray. I'd said that he'd had to have a couple of good looks over his shoulder to check on the progress of Max Cook. Now that he's been overhauled by Cook, he seems the faster of the 2. Willing to go so close to his rival through 180. Not many riders have really tagged onto the back of someone else through there without ending up going straight up the back of them. Cook the leader, Ray in second. They are 5 seconds clear now of Richard Holmes-Williams in 3rd. Will Howarth in 4th in a separate squabble with Brandon Payne. Howarth was the faster of the 2 last time around to open a half a second margin. Fight for 8th and 9th positions as well between Callum Wybrow and Felix Hearn. It's another new fastest lap of the race from Max Cook out in front, but Brad Ray sets a new personal best, so he's going with Cook here. And again, willing to get so close down the inside into 180. Can't be much more than a tyre's width between them. But still, Cook has that crucial bike length going into the top turn, and unless he makes a similar mistake to what he did earlier on when he just ran wide through the S's and left too much room, Brad Ray is going to have to pull off something really special to get past Max Cook. Cook, the championship leader in this pit bike open category. Coming through against lap traffic, he couldn't quite get past into turn 1. He's held at bay as well into turn 2. And that's given Brad Ray a bit of a chance because he was 4/10 of a second back last time over the line. Cook leading, Brad Ray in second. The fight we were anticipating, the fight that had been built up so dramatically in advance of race number 1 is still going toe-to-toe up front. Brad Ray, he got a good run up Oak Tree, but he couldn't quite get alongside into the top turn. So it's still Max Cook who leads. Run the yellow flags through the infield section. Is that Brandon Payne who's gone down? Coming towards Oak Tree. We'll find out next time they come around the start-finish line, but up front, it's you dare not take your eyes off this battle among the top 2. 0.3 of a second between Max Cook and Brad Ray. Cook is held up going into 180. Ray has the advantage coming off it. Through and onto Oak Tree once again. Ray's been getting brilliant speed off that left-hander, but he hasn't really had the momentum down the straight. Confirmed that was Brad Payne. I suspected that it was on the green number 23 bike coming off 180. He came off quite literally. He is back on board. He is circulating again. He's down in 7th position. So that will have cost him about 20 seconds, that fall, but he has remounted to continue on with his race. It gives Will Howarth a bit of breathing room from 4th position as they come into the final lap now. 0.2 of a second between Max Cook and Brad Ray. Is there time for the rider of the number 28 bike to strike? Less than a bike's length between them as they came off 180. Max Cook just losing a bit of control. Brad Ray then having to back it off so as not to go up the back of him. That's how close the 2 of them were running through the S's for the final time. The final time in race number 1 at least. Still 2 races of this to go. Those will be tomorrow, of course. Plenty of mileage in this battle between Max Cook and Brad Ray. But in race number 1, the honours are set to go to Max Cook. Cook takes the checkered flag, Ray home in 2nd. The early race leader eventually ceding the position and unable to get back past. 3rd will go to Richard Holmes-Williams. And then Will Howarth an isolated 4th place. Holmes-Williams in the end 10 seconds back from the top 2. Will Howarth a similar distance in arrears of Holmes-Williams, 8 seconds in the end. 19 seconds back from the winner. It was very much 2 fights in 1, but the latter of them, between Will Howarth and Brandon Payne, was determined when the number 23 came down off 180 in the latter stages of the race, leaving us to focus on the battle between the top 2. And this time at least, it's championship leader Max Cook who takes race number 1 in the Pitbike Open category of this 2017 FAB-Racing British Minibike Championship.